Haha, Rupert died. It's funny every single time. Oh, hi there. I'm Epic Kirby, and I'm here to talk about a topic near and dear to my heart. Villain tournaments. You know, the tournaments that, the one I'm watching now, Disney versus not Disney. Well, who cares? So, let's talk about it. Lately, a lot of people have been making spin-offs of the whole villain tournament idea. While many of them have been pretty good, some of them haven't been as good as others. And now, when more and more of them start showing up, a lot more people will try to make their own spin-off. So, with that in mind, I'm here to talk about what not to do and what to do when making a villain tournament spin-off thing. Maybe, sort of, kind of. Okay, first off, if you really want to make one, I'd advise you don't. For a while. You see, at the moment, there are a crap ton of spin offs out there. Like, out of the big ones, there's like 8 or 9. And that's not counting all the minor ones. And no one's gonna have the time to watch 9, 10 spin offs, so it's probably best to wait until some of them end. So there'll be less to watch, and maybe they'll actually watch yours. I don't know. But let's say you have to make a villain tournament, or you wait. Who cares? Let's say you really want to make one. Then we have to get to part number 2, the theme of the villain tournament. Now, when I say theme, I mean things like Disney versus non-Disney, Disney versus Marvel, etc., etc. Step number 1 is don't use a theme that's already being used, because that's just unoriginal and not very fun. Like, it's just like Disney versus Marvel, my version. It's like, no, don't do that. That's kind of poop and lame and stupid and lame and lame and a little lame. I don't know if I said that yet, but whatever. Next off, I'd avoid the whole every villain versus every villain kind of spin-off, because that seems to be the most quote unquote popular, and I only say that because that's the one that people want to make the most. I'm gonna have to guess mostly it's to avoid, like, oh, I have this great idea for a spin-off, but I really want to use this villain who doesn't fit in this demographic. Deal with it. You just, I know I might be coming off as rude, but it's probably not the best idea. You should probably do your own thing. And if you think of your own original theme, then you will get, it will be more original. People will try to keep up with it. Maybe, sort of. It all depends on when you release your spin-off. Anyhow, the last thing you should probably avoid is the heroes from a TV show versus Disney and non-Disney villains. A lot of these have been cropping up due to the Pokemon heroes versus Disney and non-Disney villains, and let me explain why you should probably avoid this. When you pick a TV show, you have tops, let's count side characters, 9, 10, maybe 15 heroes. Disney and non-Disney villains, there's at least over 100, depending on how far you reach out. But if you want to keep your series going, and you only have like 10 heroes versus 100 villains, and you don't want your series to end in round 2, you're gonna have to keep killing off the villains and keep making sure your heroes live. And that's just not very fun to watch. It's just like, let's show you the villain death scene, but have some interactions from these heroes from a TV show. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. But I'm not saying that Heroes is instantly bad. Like, Disney heroes versus Disney villains is really good, because they have an equal number of heroes to match with their number of villains. So you won't like have an overabundance of villains. It's overpopulation. If there's too much, you got to kill them. That I'm not saying you should kill everyone because there's overpopulation on the planet. By the way, don't think I said that. Don't think I said that. I would never say such a thing. I would never say such a thing to you. Okay. So you got your theme. Next, for the basics, you need a video editing software. I use Windows, so I have nothing to say about iMovie. If you have a Mac, try to use Final Cut over iMovie because iMovie is like Windows Movie Maker, which we'll go into. We have down here we have Sony Vegas and Windows Movie Maker. Opened both is the raw footage of Disney versus anime villains round 9 because I had to edit that together, so I have the file lying on my computer. Now this was made in Windows Movie Maker. Evil Skeleton King came to me because I had Sony Vegas in spare time and asked to add color filters to it. Because Windows Movie Maker is really limited as you could, because Skeleton King did as much as he can, and you can see the subtitles are in the shot right here. There's no color filters. I mean, black and white works as a much better color filter as no color filter at all. It's preferable that you have Sony Vegas because you can't crop, you can't color filter, you can't do a lot of things. Your special effects sometimes look weird. Like this is as much as you like the screen. This is as much as you could really do for a villain tournament if you only use Windows Movie Maker. You have the screen size constantly shifting due to whatever clip you got, black and white or no color if it's an intermission, or sepia. He didn't seem to use that because he knew it was coming to me for editing. So that's basically most of what you could do with Windows Movie Maker. Let's move over to Sony Vegas and why it's the superior choice for one of these. You could probably do almost everything you could see with Final Cut or Adobe, whatever the software is, but I don't know about. Used Final Cut a few times, but not for anything like this, so I'm gonna assume you could do most of this. First off, the little black bars you could instantly get rid of with maintain aspect, turn that to no, and you automatically have it stretched out. And for the sake of me being really lazy and not going through shot by shot, we're just going to make this all a color filter. And so we go on effects. Once it loads, add black and white because some scenes aren't, and color balance. Black and white on, and color balance, I don't care, red. I don't usually stick with the ones Sony Vegas comes with because I like having more big color filters. Not big, but stand out more because that's how I roll. Something I didn't do this for the first round of animated versus video game villains because that was the first thing I ever did with this, so there's a lot of mistakes with that one. Especially the color filters are kind of lousy because let's go to a scene that didn't have color near the end. Okay, this scene, so here we have Robotnik's face. And it looks pretty nice because it looks red, you have the color filter. But if you turn black and white off, it doesn't really look that good. I didn't, when I made round 1 of animated versus video game villains, I didn't think I could do anything about that, so I just constantly shifted the color balance until I got it looking okay, but then I'm like, oh, black and white saves everything. The main reason you want color filters, or anything that makes it one color, is because when you're doing a villain tournament, you want to make it as though the villains are in the same place fighting each other, or the heroes, or whoever the hell is there. You want them to seem like they're in the same room, actually having a conflict. So, like, this is already black and white, so I can't show you as well, but, like, if you have, let's assume colors are gone. We have Oogie Boogie in his manor, which is memory, like really dark and brown and whatever. Go back. And then we have the Wario Bros out in the open, sunny grass field. Like you could tell they're not in the same room, but with color filters, sure, you could say, oh, there's sky, but now there's a wall. But it still looks like they're interacting with each other. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's better. As for basics, I think for now that's all I have. Next time we'll talk about more complicated things like clip placement and other special effects. Most of the special effects I talk about will be Sony Vegas or other advanced editing software only because Windows Movie Maker you can barely do crap. But whatever, hope everyone has a nice day, and hope this has been helpful. You can see my screen recorder. I am the devil. Don't worship me at all, ever. Goodbye.